Hey everybody, welcome to the chat. I see 2 people. Yay! That's good. Just looking for my glasses. There they are. So this was a real nice commission to come in. I've drawn death numerous times. I think I started doing a pencil study based explicitly on this photo a while ago, but I never finished it. The glasses are filthy. I just finished inking another cover today, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but after a day of wearing my glasses in the studio, they just So give them a quick wipe down. So this one came in, and I was like, oh yes, I get to do it. And I was like, oh no, likeness. Actually, I have to make it look like her live on screen. So that's always going to be just an added stressor. One of the things I don't do at conventions anymore, at least not for years, is attempt to do likenesses at a convention, because the process to capture the likeness uses a lot more site size techniques. Checking the relationships between every single element, and I'm very slow at that. So to get this face took quite some time. Drawing the body was easy. You can actually see, as I was working through some of the ideas on I accidentally printed the photo reference out on 11 by 17, so I wanted to utilize the paper so I wasn't wasting it. So I spent a lot of time. I drew her face, actually much larger. And I scanned it and I kind of pasted on the body I drew. There were some other ideas I had. I actually was contemplating doing the umbrella, and I figured that black shape merging with her hair would be too much. That's the face I did this. This is the face I did the study on. You can see the likeness, I think. And what else I got here? Oh, and this was the inspiration for the pose. You can actually see. I said it was actually a little too sassy. Is that a good term to use? And I gotta tell you, I love that nose ring. I kind of wish she had the nose ring in the show. That would have been a nice new visual element. I think that inspired this pose, and I got all this reference, so I'll probably have this one up while I'm working on the face and the hair. This one and everything. Already considered using my rubber stamps. And if that happens, I'll be masking out the background for the most part, and maybe using my gradients, because just in terms of like lighting, if lighting is coming from above, this is going to be dark. This will be coming really dark, maybe even close to black on the shadow side. I want the outfit to be black, of course, so I'd mask off the ink. I want the ink to pop. I want her to have a really, really brilliant silhouette. I want to get away from the idea that the endless death, if you're familiar with the comic, Morpheus, Sandman, Death, Desire, if I remember correctly, all have like paper white skin. Destiny, Destruction, Delight / Delirium have kind of like pale, Caucasian skin, and Despair has gray skin, and because she's Despair. And so death going from bone white to black, I think it's brilliant. But I also kind of want to incorporate. I don't want to like just render her and leave her with like uh, essentially uncolored features. I mean, the way I would ink it if it was going to be colored for comic books. So I think I'm going to use a little bit of the rubber stamp to get the values right in the skin color, and then use the white of the paper in the background to make it pop properly, make it appropriate. Also, doing all that would make her eyes and her smile stand out nicely, and the ankh. Um, Her showing the costume, black tank top, black jeans. I sketched those details in, but I'm actually thinking that I think I'm on those solid black, especially if I'm going to be doing values, like dot pattern values in her skin here. If I leave this nice and solid black, it'll actually contrast nicely. Because I got a friend who gave me an incredible rundown of how poorly dark skinned people are shot in most movies and TV and photography. It's just we haven't really adjusted the technology for that. So I want to see if I can actually do a good representation of skin values in a black and white piece here. So that's just giving you the heads up going into this. I think Kirby Howell-Baptiste is absolutely stunningly beautiful. She's great in the role. Looking forward to the second season and seeing her do more work after the strike gets settled. I saw her in another movie that was surprisingly good, although it had issues with it. It was a science fiction movie about the end of the world. And I'm blanking. I'm talking off the top of my head here. She played a character in it, part of a lesbian couple of upper class British people going away to a house in the middle of nowhere as the world was about to end. Everyone knew the world was ending, and they're all essentially on this suicide pact. And there's some kids who are in denial of it, and some adults are not entirely sure it's really going to happen, but it really is the end of the world. And Kirby goes through hell in this. If I remember correctly, I don't want to spoil it. I can't remember the name of it, but I think it's set at Christmas, and it's a whole bunch of British actors, so you know the acting's good. Contemplating as they prepare for the end of the world. Yeah, let me get started. I think I want to. So I assembled all my pencil. Like there's, I did about 12 drawings of this body. I think I managed. Based on this, I ended up drawing this very slowly once, and then I assembled everything in Photoshop, printed out. So if I screw this up, I will print out another one and start again. I am not leaving till I'm done. So let's start. You know what? Also, the makeup's very. This is some sort of looks like Adobe. So some sort of Adobe event. But her makeup here has different eyeshadow. This has a nice gloss to it. This goes a little darker. A lip treatment, darker makeup here. Looks matte in the show. Maybe I should put them side by side so people can see what I'm talking about. This is where I wish I printed them out smaller, but I got the sketch on it. So I want to be mindful of the makeup she had in the show, even though I'm using reference from her from elsewhere. I think that's almost like a burgundy darkening, like a dark burgundy lipstick happening here. That could also just be lightning or a color shift from my printout. But all right, let's get started. I am going to start, of course, on the features here. I'm using a usual Oto. Can you read that? Hopefully you can read that. Oto graphic liner. I buy them from Cult Pens in the UK. I'm in Canada, so I get them delivered internationally, and I'm using a 005 to start. That's the finest line they give. And here we go. A lot of times I like to outline an area before I actually go in and render it. It puts a little control down on the paper. There's a subconscious aspect to drawing where it's like if there's something on your drawing already, it's there and it attracts your attention to a certain degree. And I guess it's like, you ever see someone who's riding a bike and you're not paying 100% attention to where they're going, but there's like a pole at the side of the road and they drive the bike right into the pole, even though there's like all this space all around it. I have a feeling like having lines on paper, the start of a drawing, those first lines will control how some of the later lines go down. So I like to have very mindful limits for how the lines go down so I can control that aspect of it better. She's got really nicely sculpted, possibly drawn in or enhanced eyebrows in the show. But I know she's got those in the non-show related photographs I used as reference. So she may actually just have like heavy eyebrows. I'm jealous because like I have the faintest eyebrows of anyone I know. Now, it's not bad as Chris Christopherson, who had no eyebrows. But yeah, it's from a distance. I don't think it looks like I have eyebrows. So I'll just go heavy. She has like a nice black line around her eyes. So I'm using the thinnest pen I have to like just get some control on that. And it looks like there's either like really long eyelashes. I should have rewatched the episode before drawing this. She has either really, really long eyelashes or a little bit of a cat's eye here in the corner. I'll get that in there. Scribbling some black ink here in the eye. Wow, that already does something, doesn't it? So what I'm doing is I'm really focusing on the areas that they'll just stand out if I get them wrong. And I'll immediately go, yeah, gotta start again. And so hopefully, I wonder if I should move this over a bit. Don't need to see the reference as much as what I'm drawing here. So even if I do add some screen on top of this, I mean, there are really lovely highlights, slightly more contrast going there. So I think I might be doing those with a little bit of pen rendering to get it really working properly, or at least properly as far as I can do as an artist. And she's smiling, and I noticed in one of the see here, she's smiling. She's got this nice little divot that shows up just above her lip. So, lightly indicate that. Really defined shadow coming underneath her chin. Initially get that down with some sketchy lines. I'll go back into them later. Oh, we got chats. Here we go. Hey, Aaron. Yeah, the photos are great. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for joining in and watching. God, there's part of me that wants to look up that movie so I can tell you about it. It's interesting. It's weird how it's all wealthy people. they're given some sort of, I think, pills, so they'll or injections, so they'll all pass out before the apocalypse happens. So they'll be sleeping or dead already before everything happens, because it's kind of a painful death. God, I hope I'm not spoiling it, because I think it's right up front that it's like everyone's dying. Hang on. Yeah, look at my phone. Yay. I'm going to go IMDb it. Kirby Howell-Baptiste. See if the IMDb comes up right away. Here we go. It's loading. I know some of you are thinking, oh my God, I showed up to watch him draw and he's looking up a movie. Oh, that's right. She was in Mr. Harrigan's Phone. I forgot she was in that too. She's good. Silent Night. Yeah, that's why I thought it was a Christmas movie. It's called Silent Night. Comedy drama. Nell, Simon, and their son Art are ready to welcome friends and family for what promises to be a perfect Christmas gathering. Perfect except for one thing: everyone is going to die. So yeah. So I don't know. I think I saw it on AMC. I cut all my streaming services, knowing that they were screwing over actors. I wish I could have held off a bit and done it when to leave the impact, make them understand that I'm quitting because of what the strike and everything right now. But yeah, so yeah, if you're looking for a movie that's interesting and apocalyptic about rich British people in the end of the world, and you think you like Kirby here, and you think she's a fine actress, and you want to see her play a nice little character in there, I recommend it. I do. I really do. I think I might have flipped that. Here we go. Yeah, she's got a nice little extra dimple right here beside her nose. So I just want to indicate that. And I want to do the smile line. It's one of the wonderful things about these super fine pens is you can just subtly indicate something and it's there. Yeah, she was in Mr. Harrigan's Phone. I've been seeing her a lot lately. She's really talented, so it's good to see someone that talented get a lot of work. And why I'm drawing her smiling, I don't know. It's that seems in a almost built-in aspect of the character. I mean, here she is. She's representing, the end of things, and she's the cheeriest of people. Okay, I think. Okay. I think that's her likeness. I think I got it. Oh, nerves. Just very delicately. She's got great cheekbones there. Very delicately dropping these super fine lines on and hoping that when I take my 20% screen and right on top of her face, that it doesn't obfuscate everything. Let's get those lip values right. Double check here again. Yeah, okay. Have to be a little mindful that if I go in with the rubber stamps over top this, it's already going to darken everything. So I gotta, if I leave a little bit of light showing through, it'll make it feel a little more three-dimensional. Yeah. Do a couple of parallel lines there. Sorry if turning the paper makes things a little disorienting, but been inking nonstop for the last week or so, and my elbow's a little weird. So if I start twisting at funny angles, it's gonna wear it on me. Now her neck in this photo reference, I can probably fold this down, have it show up better. In this photo reference, there's a distinct shadow, and the hair's coming in. It gets really, really darker. So I think I'm gonna roll with that. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna let some of her neck coming through there. See there's collarbones. Jumping around a bit. I'm just because I'm balancing values here. Get that a little bit darker. There's a part of me that thinks that maybe I might even be able to do most of this with pen and ink instead of rubber stamps. Yeah, she has this wonderful, wonderful cheekbones. My God. Some sound like video game music right now. Man, sometimes just the subtlest line can change everything, especially in a likeness. Oh, here we go. Hey, Ted. Hi, Sylv and Aaron again. Hey, cool. Oh, by the way, what's this? That's what. All right, cool. I just found out what next week is going to be. It's going to be another likeness, and it's going to be Scarlet Witch. Mary Kate Olsen. I can't remember which of the Olsen sisters ended up playing the Scarlet Witch. God, hope don't want to get kicked out of fandom for not remembering which actress plays which Marvel character. Yeah, so next week it's Scarlet Witch, which would be cool because again, it's another likeness situation. Now, if I got the light coming down from here, it's like I have a whole bunch of different light sources here for like here we have decidedly event lighting. So lighting's coming down at her, and photographers are looking at her. This is much more simulated naturalistic lighting. And I like this more. So I think I'm going to look at the event lighting more for structure and use the shot from Netflix as a guide for value. At least that's the plan. As long as nothing's not working, I'm going to stick with it. And there's a thing I do, and I think a lot of artists who use this is a ballpoint essentially. A lot of artists who use ballpoints do they'll angle or lean the pen away from the tip. I can draw right here because I'm going to be inking all that black. And with the tip, you get a really nice smooth line. But if you drag along the edge, you get almost like a dry brush effect from the pen. So you can get extra faint line. So if you're using a fine line and you want the effect from a fine line, you do it on a steep angle, you're going to get that ink's going to come out less and it's going to be more faded. And it'll almost have like a value shift in it as you go. A little bit darker there. There you go. So get more values into this piece. I can do things like that, like make things darker when I realize they're not as dark as they should be compared to everything else. There's when I was learning painting in art school, the art instructor leaned on an artist named Hawthorne who wrote a book about painting called Hawthorne on Painting. I don't like that. I got a little smudge of ink there, a little ball of it that built up there. I have to go back in and fix that. And the takeaway from it was you look for your darkest dark and your lightest light in a painting, and you work towards the middle of that, if that makes sense. And that way your values are much more under control, much more consistent. I'm going to start from the eyebrow. And so I'm going to apply the shadow from her hair coming over like that. It's more of a flatter surface too. A crosshatch into that. Hmm. Do I have the eyes dark enough here? If anyone has any questions, so well, you know how to get a Zatanna. Silv. Oh my God. So if you have any questions as I'm going along, feel free to ask. You want me to explain any drawing things or anything of that sort as I'm here? I mean, that's the entire point of my being here live. I already figured out, like, if there's a weekend where I don't have a commission to do, I very likely will do some sort of informational, some drawing aspects, because I'm planning to do that here anyway. Actually start shooting some more educational videos showing principles, like shorter stuff. But I also dusted off my old teaching, my course outlines and my teaching notes from when I taught drawing at various colleges. And I also, years ago, did a drawing class online at a place called Craftsy. And just want to make sure I get this nose right. And I think it's time for me to revisit those and do better drawing instruction. And I'll just put it here on YouTube. I mean, someone said I should, do a course and sell it. If enough people see what I'm doing here on YouTube, I don't have to sell it. I think I'm gonna bring this through here a bit more. Because the bridge of her nose ends here, and I kind of want to make sure I get that. So what do you guys think? Think I got the likeness there? I don't know if the eyes should be that white, but the teeth should be. I might go back in with some paint and paint that out. There we go. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mask off and hit this with a rubber stamp early because, well, if I screwed up, better to do it early in the stream than later in the stream, I think. I probably want to. And I'm not going to mask out the eyes and the teeth. I'm going to use white paint and go back in after and paint them out and highlight, because I may want some of those dots to go into the eyes to push down the white a bit, because contrary to popular belief, the whites of your eyes aren't as white as most people think they are. So if this is your first time here, I do a lot of stuff with rubber stamps lately. Last, I don't know, year? Since last summer. Late last summer, actually. So this is an archival black ink, and I use a local rubber stamp shop to make stamps. This is the very first one I made. It is based on a 20% screen. It's the lightest rubber stamp I made. I loaded up with ink. Make sure it's good and loaded. And I don't want to have any smudge here, so I'm just going to be very carefully putting this in. And hopefully I'm not screwing this up. This is the first time I'm doing this. All right, I don't know if that shows up on camera as well, but I've just pushed the values of the whole face down and it works. The teeth, I'm going to go back in with, at the end of it, a little bit of white paint to make them pop a bit, but it's doing what I hoped it would. So, all right, going to keep going. I was worried this was going to look disastrous. I'm going to keep these for later because I'm probably going to use Frisket. For everything else, I think I'm going to use this brush here. because it's dry brushy. I can do effects that are kind of fun with it, and it's a brush, so I can do that kind of squirrely curly hair that she's got. Squirrely curly. I don't know where that came from. And the contrast with the real nice dark black ink here should give her face a better value when the piece is done. Um, Looks like it's pretty solid dark here. It goes in like that. So I can go. Yeah, because I can do more or less solid black here in the hair, and I'm going to go more or less solid black. Yeah, I'm going to do. I think I said at the top. I'm going to go solid black all the way through clothing, just so everything can focus on the hair and the onk. That. Trying to sculpt out simpler shapes in the ink so it goes a little bit faster. I mean, I could render everything and just get darker and darker and darker. I almost hit the face with the brush. um, I want to build the texture of the hair, and this might take a little while to get it right. I'm going to do it with some brush strokes. I'm going to go back in with pen on top of it because, I mean, she's got this beautiful little bit of hair that just skews out, almost like if you remember the old telephone cords that kind of wrapping around. I don't know how you get your hair to do that. Um, so I can do layers and layers of these amazing curls here. I think it was brilliant casting, and then get her hair like it. I do miss the eye squiggle, the little eye squiggle from the original design. Um, Not sure where they dropped that. I guess they just wanted. There was a real person that I think it was based on, and they may have done that eye squiggle. So maybe that's why they didn't do it. But I do miss that. But I think this hair is an amazing touch. It adds so much character and personality, and it's just a level of energy and the appearance of the character. It's just great. And I also like, yeah, I like the decision making in the series with the casting all across the board. I mean, I've been a fan of the series since it came out. I was actually a fan of Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean's work with Violent Cases when it first came over here. My friend Mark Asquith, who once upon a time was the manager of the Silver Snail downtown Toronto, essentially put it in my hand. He says, "Oh, you haven't seen this? You have to see this." And I bought it, and it was just brilliant. Um, and I loved it. So when I heard about Sandman and Black Orchid coming out, I was like 110% on board. So I was buying Sandman right from the start. Um, a lot of people came on board with the first appearance of Death. Actually, if I remember correctly, they actually gave like over distributed the issue. I think they made it returnable, and the snail was actually giving away the issue. I already had it in my hand to buy, and the snail was actually giving the issue away, which was kind of cool, just to grow the readership. I don't know if any publisher or would risk doing that these days. It's a very different time in the 90s. Oh, sorry, 80s. Was it 80s? Yeah, I think it was the 80s still. Late 80s. Pre-Vertigo? Maybe? But anyway, yeah, so I loved the conception of Death as opposed to like some dour, Dickensian hooded reaper with a scythe. It was this incredibly cheeky goth girl with sunglasses and this incredibly positive attitude, cheering up her morose brother, who is the god of or the avatar of dreams. Is that working? I think it's working. I'm going to go back in with some lines and add some scribbles, and it's hopefully going to make the texture work. I think I want this to come down a bit more, and that's going to go in there. So let me get the parameters of the hair here. The camera I'm using is essentially at my head height, so I'm ducking around. I'm going from like this side to this side to get a clear view, so I'm not bumping the camera with my head all the time. I have a feeling if I was drawing this character with this, not necessarily this character, but character with this hair for any length of time, I'd develop a shorthand to get the brush technique with pen to work faster. Okay. No, 1. So 0, 1. Take a look here. Oh, here we go. Yo. Cute. Oh, you. Cute. Glenn bummed little Jacob. Glenn bummed little Jacob. Don't get it. Don't get Glenn bummed little Jacob. Lost on me. So now I'm scrambling and figure what Sandman reference Glenn bummed little Jacob is. feel really embarrassed. A friend of mine quoted a Beatles song, and for the life of me, I could not recall the Beatles song. It was off of Revolver, and I was like, "Oh my god!" It was one of those songs that it's so much a vibe that, and I don't think I ever actually paid attention to the lyrics, which happens sometimes. I mean, there's some songs you just inflict the lyrics into your memory because you always want to remember every aspect of a song. But this was not one of them. It was "Tomorrow Never Comes." Um, by John Lennon. I don't know. I think that's working all right. Yeah, okay. So now I'm just essentially scribbling down value with a pen, hoping that the thicker brush strokes will carry the structure, the idea of light and shadow um, through the image. So I'm doing a very sloppy, loose cross hatching because I don't want any precision in it to detract from the idea that it's like a natural organic hair. Again, with the dry brushing, but I'm using a thicker pen, so it's slightly less of a delicate line. All right, let's do some line weight on the outside of the figure, block off the shapes that are going to be solid black. I think I want to use a 0.3 pen, which I usually have floating around because I was using one earlier. If not, I'll grab a new one. Whoops, what's this? Here we go. 0.3, it's here you can see it's a much thicker ink line. Let's give him some smudge. I thought I washed my hands after inking a cover today, but maybe I'm picking up some ink off of my drawing board. I gotta wipe that down soon, I guess. hopefully this doesn't look too mushy. I usually try and harden up the edges, but the elbow is so far behind here. Hopefully it doesn't look too rubbery when I'm done. Oh, so the whole silhouette just kind of popped, although her head looks like it's floating strangely there. Yeah, I think I'm going to go solid black here in the armpit. Probably. Going to render in here so the lines these lines I'm indicating here are going to fade. That's going to be solid black there. So I can do that. Fingertips probably will catch some light. Oh, there's a thumb here. I actually inked right over the thumb there. There you go. Draw the line outside the fingers a little bit more. I'll ink into such a way to make them fade into. I might actually do, if the light's up here, so I might do more rendering on top of the zip tone I just added. The light's coming down here and everything's getting darker. I might actually use my gradient stamp after everything's marked off just to feel like everything's losing light as it goes down the figure. God, I'm kind of worried about that finger. It looked right in the pencils, but now I'm looking at it going, it looks bent funny. You know what? I can't remember if she had her nails done. No, it's from a different show. Shoot. Anyone who want to shout out if Kirby had her nails dark or light in the Sandman show? I don't want to take the time and look it up right now. Says the guy who needlessly looked up on IMDb for a movie. If no one looks it up, I will look it up myself, of course. Okay, so this is going to be solid black. I'm going to loosely indicate the chain, essentially inking around the ankh. Very chunky ankh in this show. I think I usually draw a thinner, more refined one, but this probably was chosen so it would show up on camera better. If this doesn't end up going dark enough, I'll either do another 20% stamp on top of it, or I'll jump to the 40 and maybe grind out some highlights, which is another tool I use. It's a very heavy electric eraser with a grinding bit, essentially for paper. So it's delicate enough, I guess. Oh, the question, Sylv, was did Kirby have dark nails or light nails in the Sandman series? Like, I don't know if she had black fingernails or light fingernails. So if they're black, that changes a lot, I think. If they're clear, I don't think it changes much, but it's I want to be right, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. This is me going in and finding the darkest darks in the skin value, because again, the body's going to be, the torso and the hips are going to be essentially solid black. I want this to pop nicely. This in camera good. Second, I had a fear that working this low end of the image was like having me just drawing off camera. Painted black, and she's got jewelry on her hands. Damn it! Okay, now I'm gonna have to go look it up. Might have to do that with white paint here. Also, should probably double check to make sure they're gloss nails and not the black ones I'm immediately jumping to. Like, all right. Oh, thanks for sending it to me. Oh, yeah, she's got a thumb ring, and then she's got a ring on her ring finger on the right hand. Well, luckily, you don't see her thumb on her left. And I think I can save that here. So that means she would have a ring here. And that should do it. Unless she's got more rings, but I don't know. Thanks, Sil. That's really helpful. Thank you so much. Um, Probably go with white paint, clean up some of the rough lines are rendering out here. I think I'm gonna have to go darker with the hands here. I think I lost control of the rendering here. Let me render over here a bit. So the shoulder should come in like that. So I'll just render it like that initially. And she's got those beautiful triceps kicking in there. No, depends on leaving the lines I want. I'll flare that shoulder out a bit more. Night, Sylv. Thanks so much. Thanks for coming in. Talk to you later. I really hope what I got planned in my mind's eye pays out here. So I'll be very disappointed if it doesn't. Because it's all predicated on essentially light hitting the top of her shoulders, maybe the uppermost part of her torso, and then everything going dark, and the lighting on her hands. Being darker still, which will work pretty interestingly considering they're facing upright, and the fingertips. If I remember correctly, pigment when African Americans stays more in the top here, whereas like the under part and the tip and the fingernail are all light. And that's based on like past drawing as opposed to anything else. I want if it's moving away from the light, even though it's lighter there, it's gonna still appear darker in value. loosely sketchy and some dirty lines to get that value in. I'll render out of it after. You have to use a different 01. This one, sometimes they just wear out super fast. Luckily, I bought a ton of them, like 6 boxes of them. Put this aside, see if this brand new one makes a better line. Yeah, 01. Oh, much better. All right, here we go. Okay, yeah, that's doing much more what I want to do. It's flowing nicely, essentially allowing me to do hatching in a much more attractive way. I think I might go back in the face and do more, bring the value. The more I work in the body here, the seamer level that gets too light there. Yeah, it's going to be darker up there. I might do that with line. So I talked to a couple of friends about dual streaming, like 2 of us or more of us coming on and doing the same subject. Even if I'm doing a commission, they could do the regular work, or they could draw the same thing, and then we could chatter and deal with questions from you guys that way. Really excited to talk to Mike Ruth, who's one of my best buds on this stuff, and love to get him on. Right now, he's in the middle of his Kickstarter for his Dodge comic book. I think it's the last issue of Dodge, his werewolf action adventure comic book. That's Kickstarting live now. Look up Dodge on Kickstarter, and you'll see a cool looking werewolf comic. Not a lot of werewolf comics out there, man. And so this is a very coarse value I'm putting, because I know I'm going to put the rubber stamp on top of it. So I think it's doing what I want it to do. I want this to be a little darker here. In the mirror here. Yeah, it's kind of I'm kind of happy with how that's working out. I'm going to do a little bit more in here. think if I got going that dark, I gotta go highlight there. Maybe a highlight this part of the forearm. All right, let's get this. So the biceps curls in like that. I just solved the problem for myself there by rendering that out a bit. Some hair. I think breast comes up there, so that should be darker. Biceps comes there. So let's render back here. Yeah. That and yeah, much too light in here. All right. Where to push those values? Yeah, that's better. It was just too light and under rendered. So I don't think I'll have to do another rubber stamp on top of this. I'll just darken this with some rendering. I should probably grab a piece of paper and make sure I don't smudge anything now that I'm working on top of stuff that I already paint. There we go. That's smarter. I gotta go dark with those lips too. Yeah, I think I'm starting to get the likeness back. I think it helps. Hope this isn't boring. There's not much to talk about. I'm really just focused on getting this likeness right. I think that's probably the most important aspect of this assignment. Yeah, I think that works a lot better. The values seem a little bit more on the ball. I want to accentuate those cheekbones a bit more. I think I might go back in with a heavier pen at the end of this and really get those eyes darker around there, make them pop a bit more. Let's get this dark. I mean, it's okay if I mess this up a little bit because it's just a white paint correction. But it's better to be careful and not use white paint when you don't intend to. I mean, there's sometimes where I'll actually do something with the intention that I'm going to go back in with white paint, and it's almost like using scraper board. If you're not familiar with scraper board, it's a piece of cardboard or illustration board that has a black coating on it, but it's essentially a clay, and you use a sharp implement, much like a drawing nib, but it's designed for scratching away, and you scratch away the white lines. It's like drawing in reverse in many ways. And I'm trying to think, used to be a almost like an etching technique that a lot of artists use. I think everyone does it digitally now if they do it, and they just draw white on black or reverse it or a whole bunch of other different options. There have been times where I do an area in solid black ink, then I go in with white paint with a brush or some other tool and draw white out of the black. Ever since I saw the Tron movie, apparently they're making a new Tron movie. That's the rumor I heard. But ever since I saw the Tron movie, and you had, I'm blanking on his name, the actor who was in Good Omens, he also played a werewolf in one of those underworld movies. He plays the really, really nerdy blonde angel in Good Omens. And he's essentially playing David Bowie in Tron. And it's hilarious. But ever since I saw Tron, every time I hear techno, I just, in the back of my head, I got an image of that actor dancing while people are fighting, because that's what happened in Tron, which I think was kind of a terribly underrated movie. What did I do with that sheet of paper? I'm using a mask. Here we go. Now, after this, I want to watch Tron again. All right, so I've done that. I'm going to grab one of my Posca paint markers. Love these because they're acrylic, and they put in a nice matte black, which takes white correction paint. Speaking of white on black technique, this stuff works great with white paint pens as well. Oh, as another thing, so as some of you may know, I'm steadfastly against that whole AI art thing, which seems to be driving everyone crazy these days. I mean, we have two strikes going in the entertainment industry, largely as a result of corporations wanting to use AI to do everything. So last night, someone posted a pretty fun meme about with the Warriors, the classic '70s gang movie, sitting on a subway train, all beat up, looking at a bunch of like really horrible, like post prom 1970s prom people on the New York subway, staring at the Warriors and just looking like just terrible against these people who've had the crap kicked out of them. And the Warriors were tagged as artists, and the prom people as AI users. And some schmuck came in and insisted that he could do both. Another poster had said, if you really want to make these people look bad, challenge him to a duel. And this guy was being a real ass. I don't think he clearly doesn't know how much of an asshole he was being. And he's like insisting, oh, I can do both. I can do both. And his work is terrible. I mean, not even talented high school level. Like he thinks he can draw a high school level. And so it looks like I might be doing a live drawing event in opposition of this guy. I'll keep you guys informed if you want to watch it. He's embarrassingly bad. So I don't know what he's thinking, accepting a challenge. And then I posted on my wall. I posted a link. There's an artist friend of mine who's looking to sell some work because he's having some problems. And this prompt jockey started going on about, the guy selling, work that someone else owns, like someone else's IP. I mean, this guy, he's gone into why I studied copyright for 20 years and all this stuff. And it's like, he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. And yet here he is, he's like essentially trying to hurt someone to make a point in favor of AI. So, I mean, he's not all there, but it's not going to do anything for me, but there might be a venue where it's like, we'll get to see like one of these AI jerks talk, and I'll be able to refute them live, all their AI points. I mean, there's so many bad faith messages coming from these pro AI people who are like, the whataboutisms, and like, well, what about the stuff that's coming down the pike that isn't generated with stolen material? Completely ignoring the point that putting people out of work for no good reason isn't a good reason to have machine generated imagery. I mean, at first I was like, yeah, it can't hold copyright, it's just going to go away. But there's so many people out there arguing for this nonsense. And when you find out that the Hollywood studios similarly want this stuff to take over everything, it's exhausting, man. It really is exhausting. You gotta fight these people. You can't let them dictate what the future is going to look like, because if they're in charge, the future is going to be hell for everyone. And they don't have a clue. I mean, there was one person on this pro AI post I saw the other day who was screaming that the Hollywood unions, both writers and actors and all these artists, should be fired or other horrible things done to them because they're standing in the way of a democratization of art. And I think about these people and I go, do they just not know what they're talking about, which is likely. But it's not like artists actually have power, and all these morons are out there acting as if we've always been keeping things away from people. I mean, I've taught art. I love teaching art. I'm going to be putting free lessons up here in the near future. The idea that I'm like somehow gatekeeping anyone else from, potentially making art as a career choice is absurd. I gladly tell people what they need to do. I gladly tell people what resources to get. And it really seems the point that these pro AI people are making is we want to do it without effort. And effort is, elitist. That's honestly the only way I can take this, man. It really seems like they're arguing that we're somehow evil for dedicating our lives to a generally low-paying occupation that they now want to participate in fully, as if anyone was trying to stop them, as if somehow this is easy and we've kept it from people. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. Is there that much jealousy of the ability? Most people can draw significantly better with some effort, man. And so many of these people adopting AI have never made the effort. Never. And it shows. I mean, like this one guy, he showed his work. He's got a Pinterest from 5 years ago. He was proud of. He showed this work, and he thought, somehow he could. I really don't know. It's like, says you'll crumble if I beat you in this challenge, and it's a drawing challenge, and he can't draw. And I'm incredulous over the arrogance, entitlement, and stupidity. I think that's the only way to put it. I mean, we don't stop people from learning this stuff. It doesn't make sense, man. Game over. All right, let's see if I can get this to lift properly without ripping any paper. Oh, the music stopped. That means we're over an hour and a half, I think. All right. Yeah, lift it up a little bit there. Damn it. Luckily, I can fix that easily enough. Oh, man, look, it's lifting paper up there, too. You cut too deep. I'll have to render. That little part there just lifted. I just put in a new blade today, so that's why it's cutting sharper than it normally does. I have to be more careful lifting this stuff up. Yeah, I did cut that. There we go. All right. So this area I'm going to stamp into, but I'm going to quickly fix that little lift up there. Probably best with a marker. Just going to come in, let that soak in there. That's where I pull out the stamp again. I'm almost done. Oh, you're right. I also want to fix. No, I'll fix that after. Yeah, I think I'm going to use a little bit of my gradated stamp. And here's the gradated stamp. All right, let's see if that worked, and I'll do some touch-ups. And hopefully the person I did this for is happy with it. Also, all I have to do, the white paint on the, be careful lifting off the ink surface because I don't want to lift ink. A friend of mine commented on how much frisket I use. And I was just in Michigan a couple of weeks ago, and I bought another roll. So I'm not too worried. I actually like using the frisket, even though I don't airbrush that much. Okay, I just have to lift it out of there. Use a knife for that because I'm trying to avoid tearing. Tear it again. Damn it. You have to get a lighter touch, better feel for like cutting through the film, but not through the paper. Also using smooth paper, which traditionally gets lifted a lot easier in my experience anyway. All right. See if a little bit of eraser gets rid of some of the smudging from earlier. All right. Touch up some of the surface damage from the frisket. I think a brush might be best. Gonna hit this with a little bit of workable fixative when I'm done. It'll unify the different media I use, because I'm using ink and then black paint and stuff like that. It'll kind of merge them all a bit. No, I think actually this might be better. I had a realization one of my other ones would be better than that. White paint pens, I'm thinking about. There you go. Got an acrylic white paint pen here. There we go. Just clean up the edges here a bit. So they're not so sketchy. So I don't mind a lot of noise in my work. I like it. I grew up with McKean and Sienkiewicz's heroes. So scritchy, scratchy lines are A-okay with me. Get that ring to pop. A little highlight in that fingernail. Want those gorgeous teeth of hers to pop a bit more. Yeah, tap out a little bit of the dots that went into her mouth here. And do I want to highlight in your eye? Yeah, let's do a little ping, ping. Well, there you go. There's Death of the Endless. I'll be scanning this shortly, and I'll post the final scan tomorrow. Maybe I should sign it. Signing helps. And thanks everyone for, I'm going to sign it, and then I'm going to shut everything off. All right. Thanks for everyone for showing up. Next week, Scarlet Witch. Same pace time, same pace channel. Everyone have an amazing week. Thank you so much for showing up.